Basin trusted, Basin proud. This is Local 2 News at 10 in HD.
Good evening, I'm Rebecca Jeffrey.
And I'm Horace Brown. It's great to have you with us for Local 2 News at 10.
A rural town of about 400 people primed for a boom after recent oil discovery and football glory. Local 2's Tyler Wessner is live in the studio to explain more about tonight's special assignment. Tyler.
Balmorhea, known to many across West Texas as the place with the crystal clear water. Now Apache has a huge oil find nearby, and the Bears are coming off a state title berth. So there's some positivity in the air for a Balmorhea mini boom. Balmorhea, a small, quiet town, home to this peaceful goat. But the sounds of cars driving by are growing more and more these days.
I think they've got something like 500,000 acres that they have leased and supposedly are drilling. And you can drive around town, you can see where they've already drilled. You can see some of the flares going on.
Balmorhea ISD Superintendent Manny Espino talking to me about the Alpine High, Apache's significant oil discovery nearby in Reeves County.
They're not producing anything yet. It doesn't help the school district. I mean, we're glad they're here, and at some point we should be able to tax some of that of what Apache is doing, and hopefully will help us get some things done and help us with some money.
Espino says he hasn't seen much growth in the city since the announcement of the oil find, but there's many parts of his school that would benefit from having that extra revenue stream.
There's a ton of things that we could do here as far as the facilities are concerned, starting with the building, computer labs, the track, the weight room, the bleachers.
Nikki Contreras, working at this grocery store, has lived in Balmorhea for all 31 years of her life. She's cautiously optimistic about the city's future, but worried for its most well-known feature, the natural spring swimming pool and that crystal clear water flowing through town.
I'm kind of nervous about the boom that's supposed to happen, about new people coming in and it expanding a little more, about the kind of people that will come and about our water getting messed up.
Contreras says Balmorhea residents like herself still proud of the football team making the state title game last fall, and she thought there might be more people coming into town to share that joy with.
As soon as I heard about the Apache drilling, I thought it was going to be a lot more, but I haven't really seen too many more.
And with the positivity going around town about the Apache oil discovery nearby in Reeves County, and also the football team making the state championship game last season, you can say Balmorhea is making a recent splash in West Texas.
It was really high energy, excitement. The town was really juvenated and just really excited about being there and then getting to go to A&T Stadium.
Balmorhea head football coach Vance Jones reflecting on his Bears trip to the state title game last year and also looking ahead to this season with every starter returning.
If we can stay healthy and have a little luck and continue to get better, I feel like we have a real good chance to make another deep run. The community realizes that we have a great opportunity this next year to have another really good team.
Jones says his team has made the playoffs each of his 5 years on the job, and with the potential of more athletes coming to town with the oil boom, the Bears could be in line to move up in competition down the road.
We're Division II, which is the smallest division of Class A, and with just 10 kids, 10 students, we may be up into Division I, which is playing a lot bigger schools.
Coach Jones says growing from a 6-man team to an 11-man team, however, isn't very likely, something he hopes stays that way. Live in the studio, Tyler Wessner, Local 2 News.
Tyler, thanks. Local 2 News has another special report coming up this Sunday detailing the medical marijuana movement here in Texas. One West Texas senator filed 2 bills this session asking to let the people vote on whether or not to legalize medicinal or recreational marijuana in Texas. He says after 40 years of losing the war on drugs, there should at least be a conversation regarding marijuana, while others believe marijuana research hasn't caught up and long-term effects are unknown. We want to know what you think, though. Should marijuana be legal in Texas? Head to our Facebook page to cast your vote in our poll. Just search Local 2 News-KMID. We'll share the results Sunday night after the Oscars.
Well, this week's Energy Report, a boom or bust workshop being held Wednesday at UTPB, asking citizens to share their stories of both good times and bad. Those in attendance of the workshop were able to write personal essays about living in the Permian Basin during the ups and downs. 2 professors at the university were recently awarded more than $80,000 in grant money to study the culture of energy production here in the basin.
There's an uptick and a downturn often in this area, and we know that our students at the university are affected, but we also know that the community is affected as well.
And I don't get exposed to all these things that are going on out there, but I do hear about them. But it's interesting to see people who have actually had those experiences.
The project also explored the culture's importance of petroleum to the region, as well as the nation as a whole.
Meanwhile, the Texas Railroad Commission releasing oil and gas production stats for December. No surprise, Midland County staying on top. Midland County pumped more than 6.6 million barrels, while Martin, Upton, Reeves, and Andrews counties also placed in the top 10. Midland County also placed 10th in cubic feet of gas produced with more than 14 million.
In your Crime Watch in Midland, an inmate serving time for misdemeanor charges escapes from the county's jail Thursday afternoon. 36-year-old Jose Borjan jumped a jail fence on the run for more than an hour. Here's exclusive footage of the moment he was brought down by police and deputies. We spoke with the sheriff's office chief deputy, who says he's thankful law enforcement has the inmate back behind bars.
The tent, the recreational area is open, and he jumped the fence. How I'm not sure. I don't know if he threw something over in order to facilitate his escape.
Borjan broke into a Midland home, completely surprising the residents, who later pressed charges for burglary. While he was on the run, several MISD campuses were placed on lockdown. We're told he now faces multiple felony charges.
And the Wichita County Sheriff's Office is investigating the death of a man after he fell onto a barbecue grill, catching a house on fire. Authorities say it appears the 65-year-old man was grilling food when he fell onto the burning grill around 11:30 this morning. Investigators say he caught fire, which spread to nearby trash and then spread to the side of the house. Sheriff David Duke says they believe he had a medical episode, which caused him to fall onto the grill.
It's a sad incident, but we're investigating it. It's just as a accidental fire at this point. We don't see anything to indicate that it was any kind of foul play or anything involved.
Tragic, but fire crews were able to put out the fire. The man was pronounced dead at the scene. His body will be transported to Dallas for an autopsy, and the incident remains under investigation.
Well, down in Reeves County, Pecos City Council voting to give history to its own space as they approve Phase 1 of construction for the Rodeo Hall of Fame. Our own Ryan Martin joins us live from Pecos with more. Ryan?
Well, that's right. As of right now, the Chamber of Commerce and the Hall of Fame share a space, but after tonight, they're hoping to get a building all to themselves.
It's unanimous.
Somebody needs to take care of it, preserve it, so that's what we're here for.
Doug Miller excited to begin construction on the Rodeo Hall of Fame in the birthplace of rodeo, a vital piece to the history of Pecos and West Texas. But the Pecos City manager says to proceed with caution.
There's going to be a new recurring cost of hot tax for the bond payments as well as the operational cost of it, which will not be small.
But Miller's still ready with anywhere from $150,000 to $170,000 to create and preserve a new monument of history.
We've got everything we need, as far as the construction, the renovation.
Miller hopes to get construction underway as soon as possible. In Pecos, Ryan Martin, Local 2 News.
All right, Ryan, thanks for that report. We are your local election headquarters. In an effort to prevent domestic violence, State Representative Brooks Landgraf filing Monica's Law today. The legislation would create an online searchable and public database listing domestic violence protective orders. Monica's Law was inspired by Monica Deming, who was murdered in her Odessa home by an abusive ex-boyfriend in 2015.
The goal for Monica's Law is to prevent domestic violence through the power of information, and I think if it passes, it's going to save some lives in Texas.
Monica's father, John Nielsen, a former OPD officer, believes that if Monica would have had access to a database like the one that Landgraf's bill proposes, she would have known of her abuser's history of domestic violence.
The Trump administration has removed federal protections for transgender students. In a joint action Wednesday, the Departments of Justice and Education rescinded instructions that schools nationwide respect the gender identities of transgender students. Under the previous guidance put in place by the Obama administration, schools receiving federal funds had to allow all transgender students access to bathrooms and other facilities that match their gender identities.
He is very sympathetic to children who deal with that, and that this is up to states and schools within a particular district to address how they want to accommodate that and not sort of be prescriptive from Washington.
Protesters came to the White House last night to rally against the withdrawal of protections for transgender students in public schools. Still ahead on Local 2 News at 10, giddy up and yeehaw.
Two phrases you'll hear this weekend at the Ector County Coliseum. Keep it here for some sights and sounds from the Odessa College Rodeo.
And we are continuing to see some big-time changes out there, and that means a chance to switch